This episode was brought to you by Chet Hanks. Stick around to the end to find out exactly what he's done for us and the Clovenhoof family.
It's Morbius time, baby. Finally.
It's fucking Morbius time.
After like, what, 5 years of them talking about this movie?
Yeah, when was this announced?
Because
it was fucking ages ago, wasn't it? This has been supposed to be coming and then delayed and whatever for ages. Yeah. And then they got Jared Leto on it a couple years ago, right? That was when they announced that Jared Leto in 2020 or something.
I think it was long before, because it was supposed to come out in 2020, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was announced in like 2017. We should know this. This is the sort of thing we should know, but
no,
that's neither here nor there.
Okay, you're right. It was announced in 2017. You're right. And in 2018, Daniel Espinosa was announced to be the director of the project, with Jared Leto starring. So, yeah.
And then it's been delayed for years. They filmed it like pre-pandemic.
And I get something will probably come up that we don't need to go into particularly much now, but it kind of feels like the product of them probably having shot the movie like 3 times, and it being a bunch of different films that have been someone's tried to cut something together that's resembling an actual movie, but it's just a fucking mess.
Yeah, so it feels like sort of the post like 2016 DC movies where they've sort of shot with like 3 directors' visions and then had to cobble together like an hour and a half. And to be fair, like an hour and a half isn't much to cobble together with when you've got a $100 million budget. But it feels like, and especially, like I said, like we'll get into this in the spoiler section, but especially when you look at certain end credit scenes, it feels a lot like they've just sort of thrown together what mess of a film they had into one final product, and it just it does not work like one bit.
It's like piss poor.
It's not offensively bad though. That's the worst thing, is it's not horribly bad.
I suppose not.
It's just poor.
I found it a decidedly unpleasant watch. I did not enjoy watching that film.
I didn't.
But not because I like. Yeah, I guess not because I like hated it. I was just like, there's just nothing here. Like, what am I actually watching? Like, there's not a single character in that film who, when they were off screen, I was worried or concerned about what was happening to them.
What about Tyrese Gibson's character, Simon Stroud? What about Tyrese Gibson?
No.
You care about him? What about Al Madrigal's character, Agent Rodriguez?
I fucking
you loved him.
I hated Agent Rodriguez. I hated everything, all of his stupid little snidey remarks. His horrible sort of weird, like, because it's not even bad cop. Like, he's not even doing a bad cop thing. He's just doing
annoying cop.
He's doing a bored cop.
Yeah,
he's just doing like a cop who doesn't want to be there, but then also he's being like a real little bootlicker. Like, he's going like, no, but he's just being like he's just like when they first introduced the 2 policemen, Rodriguez and whatever the other dude's called,
Simon Stroud.
Yeah, but whatever his character's called,
Simon Stroud. It's Tyrese Gibson playing Simon Stroud.
Fuck. Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, when Simon Stroud,
famous actor Simon Stroud.
Sorry. Something didn't click there for some reason. When they introduce him, and he's just being such a whiny little twat, and he's like Simon Stroud is ordering people about, and he's just going, "You hurt the man, come on, what do you do? You hurt him, come on, don't waste his time. And he's just like, it's just like, oh, shut up, you're pathetic, horrible.
I love their detective work in that they immediately get to the scene and they're like, you know what does this?
This was a fucking bat.
A giant bat. Like,
right.
Okay.
So that was also what I was talking about, right? So, okay, are we starting the spoiler?
So we're gonna do spoilers from here on in. There's not much to spoil in Morbius, but if you are someone who loves the whatever we're calling it, the Spider-Man, the extended Spider-Man universe and all of its characters, and you desperately don't want it spoiled, then like here's your cutoff. Don't listen beyond here. But having said that, there is not much to spoil. Yeah, leave.
Say goodbye.
We're gonna cut down our listeners now. Like all 10 of you, go if you haven't seen Morbius, or stay because there's nothing to spoil. We're gonna talk about the horrible locations of the movie, and we're gonna start with, I guess. So they open up in Costa Rica, and I was half an hour late to my screening of Morbius. I completely messed up, and I walked in at this point, and I thought, because you would assume his origin is somewhere in the middle of the film, I thought we were half an hour into the film. So I left, but it turns out it was the very opening. They open at Costa Rica, and it's just this kind of obvious soundstage of a cave, but like just the opening of a cave as well. It's odd.
I just the helicopter pilot. He's like, oh, we can't be around him when it gets dark because the bats.
We gotta go.
Whatever, the bats.
Too many bats.
We gotta fuck off because the bats. For a start, right? Vampire bats do not attack people.
No,
I think that's like
right?
a fairly well-known thing.
Yeah, but that's why he cuts his hand. He cuts his hand with the knife.
Yeah. No, but also they don't eat things. Like they don't kill shit.
Like, yeah, why is the helicopter pilot scared of?
But then also, when the fucking bat swarm flies out, he just gets an helicopter and turns the helicopter on and tries to fly away. There's this horrible vortex of just like bats just getting like drawn into the helicopter planes.
But it doesn't show any bats like just getting chopped up like, either.
Yeah, just wait. It's just like it's just some fucking bats, man.
Close the doors.
About getting eaten. Yeah, just get in the helicopter and close the doors and just wait for like a minute, and the bats will go.
Yeah, but then also, do they leave? Is his intention to leave Morbius there? Is he just like,
because Morbius doesn't get in the helicopter?
No, how does he get back? How does he get back? Does he? Because he can't fly at this point. Because he hasn't done it at this point. So,
I hate is ever can fly.
Is this the bit where he is this? Is he getting like? Is he capturing the bats here? Like, what is that trap? Is it?
Yeah. So that trap is how he gets his.
But what does he capture them in?
Bats in a jar. In the box.
How does he?
It just opens up and it's got like some strings or something on it, and the bats just fly into
I assumed that was like some sort of laser thing. I don't know what I thought it was.
I kind of thought that it was going to be something where like the bats would. Yeah, so I sort of thought they were lasers or something like that.
I thought it would give him his powers.
And then it was just going to slam shut.
Yeah.
No, that's not how he gets his.
No, it's not. But that's how I thought initially. Like, we're straight into it. This is how he gets his powers.
No, I sort of thought that might be the case as well. But
wild, like insane. But so obviously, like Costa Rica is obviously like a soundstage, and it looks
shit. It just looks like the shitty jungle scenes in like the older King Kong movies, like not Skull Island, but like the one where he fights the dinosaur, right? It looks like that.
Yeah, but
it just looks shit.
New York is no better though, because New York is they seem to have taken. So New York is a lot of, it's like a cultural melting pot. It's a fairly big place, right? But they've chosen the greyest, grimiest, wettest back streets in New York, and then CGI'd at like the rest of the skyline. Like, why would you? I just don't get why. Like, so Spider-Man, the newest, like the Tom Holland Spider-Man films, they're set in New York, right? They're quite colorful films, so it can be done.
Yeah.
Why would you then?
To be fair though, because the tone of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies is he's just
but the place doesn't.
He's making some quips. He's chuffed. He's happy. He's pleased. Everything's good. He's Spider-Man. And this one's he's Dr. Michael Morbius. He's crippled. He's sad. He turns himself into a vampire. He's just and then his mate is one too. And
he's also turned his mate into one. But
into a vampire. It's not Morbius's fault. Let me.
No, he left it lying about. He left the cure lying about.
To be fair, he did. What the hell?
Yeah.
because he didn't tell Matt Smith how to do that. Matt Smith must have worked that out for himself, because that was like quite a procedure that he had to get, like, fucking, what's her name?
No, because he just has to inject it. It was just the fact that she was there to like strap him in and everything. Like you don't need to do that if you're fine with killing. Morbius wasn't. He was like, oh, it's a curse. I don't want to kill. So she strapped him down very successfully. Like he stayed.
No, but he didn't know that at that point. He didn't know he turned into a vampire.
I would have liked if the film was that he couldn't escape the belts. Like he just died there. He just starved. It would have been a better film.
I think so.
Yeah. Odd.
I think so.
But no, so like they don't need to make New York grey and grungy. Like I get Spider-Man's tone is lighter, but Batman has a dark tone later on. But Gotham is still an interesting city. New York in this is just hideous grey streets. And then like the lab is quite cool, but like who cares? You know, like
right, the lab. So you know when they go in and they talk to the girl who's in coma, or who they put into a coma.
Yeah.
And then while they do it, they look back.
And you can see
just a straight line of sight to
to his secret experiment.
Yeah. Like his secret experiment, evil vampire lair is like what, like 5 or 6 feet away from like a terminally ill children's hospital.
But he's like, oh, you can. He said because the woman, his what's her name, Martine. She doesn't know that he's doing his Michael Morbius experiments, and he's like, oh, you've got plausible deniability. No, you do not. Like they go downstairs and you can see it. Like you can see the bat tube. And he's like, oh, it's a fish tank.
I love the bat tube. What the fuck is the bat tube? Where do those bats go? What do they eat?
Also, once she sets them off, they're going for the whole film. They're just flying in circles for the whole film.
The entirety of the movie that takes place over like a week. Maybe
how long does it? Because it could be like a couple days, or it could be a month.
Well, I know for certain that it took him under 6 hours to swim out from the middle of the sea.
Oh, what? Because it was the morning
boat. So it was the nighttime. It was the nighttime when they're in the boat, right? And then when the next day when he is like when the police find the boat and whatever, it is then like probably like midday, right? So it must have been like 6 a.m. when he jumped off the boat, because he just jumps into the sea, right?
He does just sort of,
He calls them and he says they're what, like 34 or something nautical miles away from Long Island.
Yeah.
Was he in vampire mode when he swam back?
He must have been. No,
he wasn't.
Because he for like. Is he even super strong when he's not in vampire? Yeah, because he can do the parkour.
I don't think so. Yeah.
He does the parkour.
Yeah, he does do the parkour.
This is going to sound like nonsense to anyone who hasn't seen it, but then it is also nonsense if you have. So he goes out into the ocean with Martine on a big boat that they rent out from some like. Yeah. So
right?
Milo pays for it, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. Milo does pay for it, and so they set up his little lab in the hull of the boat. And then Martin injects him with his serum that's supposed to splice his DNA with like the DNA of a vampire bat.
Of a vampire bat.
Yeah. and because the vampire bat produces from its fangs like a toxin that stops it's like a blood thinner.
It stops the blood from like
clotting.
Yeah. So
and I guess maybe is that what his disease is?
Well, so this is something I wanted to get to. I wanted to get to the fact. So it flashes back to 25 years earlier when they're in Greece.
Yeah.
And Dr. Michael Morbius, who is Kid Michael Morbius at this point, is lying there in bed at the hospital, and they're like, here's a friend, here's Lucius, or whatever they call him. And
Loxian.
Yeah, it was something like that. And then Morbius is like, no, he's Milo. They're all Milo. There was a Milo before. Yeah. There's a Milo after. He just names him Milo for the rest of the movie.
But so the doctor, what I thought was weird is that this is like a hospital for children who are almost definitely gonna die, right?
Yeah.
And so he comes in. Little Michael Morbius is like, oh no, you're Milo. I've lost count of. So presumably the first guy Milos. Who was next to him, the first guy next to him presumably was called Milo, and he's just called everyone else Milo after then, right? Because so many kids have come in. And
no, because he doesn't even remember the first Milo. He says that he's like, I don't even remember the first Milo. So like, I don't even think that was a kid called Milo. I think he's just calling them all Milo.
Okay. But then either way, though, the fucking doctor, the guy who's supposed to be looking after
Calls
them
it
all,
Milo from there on in.
yeah, keeps
Yeah.
that up. And he's
For
like,
the
yeah,
rest of
you're
his
just a
life.
fucking Milo. You're just like a little fucking Milo.
You're
because
another Milo.
because you're just another Milo. There's been so many of you, and they've all died. Hello,
Yeah.
Milo, who's
But have they
obviously gonna
all
die.
died of the same thing? Because these two, this is what I'm saying, is these two are like best friends. They're bonding because, like, I guess they're like affliction. So are they the only two in the world with this weird blood thinning illness?
Their
Too
blood's too
thick.
thick.
Their blood's too
It's too
thick.
damn thick.
Is
But
it
also,
because of their thick blood?
if
Are they
that's
the
all
only
it took,
two?
if blood thinners was all it took, which the vampire bat has, how the fuck is he that ill?
Also, just take some like iron pills. Take some, because what they're like, what's their, is they're like anti-anemic. So there's got to be something for that, right? Like, you don't have to become a vampire to cure that. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not suggesting.
Why is then what you need? More blood.
Should we make this our segment, our Joe Rogan style segment, where we just suggest alternative medicines for Michael Morbius? Just suggest that he takes horse dewormers. Take some horse dewormers, Michael.
you try those horse dewormers.
Oh, but the other thing is, right? So
yeah,
Milo's machine breaks, and Morbius is like,
yeah.
he just takes the thing out and just whacks, like, he just sort of lodges a pen spring in there. And then they're like, this kid's a genius. He used merely a pen spring to fix the machine. It's like, no, he just sort of jammed it in the hole. He didn't even, he had no reason to, but he didn't sit there and work it out. He just literally took apart a pen, whacked a spring in there, and it worked and kept Milo alive. And then it cuts to them being like, he's winning a Nobel Prize. He finished uni at 19. He's a genius. But how? Like, how do we know? Like undoubtedly he is. He turned himself into a vampire. But
I don't think that's a particularly clever thing to do, though.
it is if you intend to. It is if you go in with the intention. How do you know? How do you? Milo did. Milo's the genius. Milo meant to turn himself into a vampire, and he did. So really, Milo's the genius here. Yeah, I like that the letter goes out the window, and they just beat Milo to a pulp for this letter.
I know. What the hell? What's the fucking motivation of the bullies? Like, let's just kick the shit out of this. Haha, the boys with crutches.
Kick the poorly kid.
Let's just beat him the fuck up.
Like, to be fair, he properly swung for that first one. Fair play.
I know, but
that was a crunch.
Yeah,
crutch to head.
Hitting him before that.
No, sure. I'm not saying this is the reason. I'm saying, like, fair play to the ill kid for that.
Yeah,
that took some doing. Like, is that other kid dead? Did he kill that kid?
Yeah, because he went in on him again.
Yeah, he did. He kept going. Yeah. Oof.
I've got written down international waters label.
Oh, so
I thought it was quite funny the way they said, "Oh, we've got to do this in international waters," and then like the next shot or something.
Does it say international waters?
And it just says down the bottom, international waters.
That is bad.
And it was like you could have said like Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah. Right? Or just or skip the label.
Yeah.
Like we know.
We all now know that we're in international waters. It just goes international waters down the bottom, but like in such a nondescript way. It's great. So I liked that bit of editing. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I wanna talk about the stuff on the boat in international waters, because we touched on it, and we touched on the fact that he's tied up and doing Morbius stuff. But
yeah.
I love so much. I love the first person Morbius scene. It's so awful, and it's so poorly thought out, and it's
so video gamey and weird.
But I love it. I love the fact that they sat there in the editing room, and they had all these scenes filmed, and they thought, you know what we need to do with this is we need to make a horrible GoPro Morbius footage.
But I couldn't work it out for like, because there's a bit where he's sort of like climbing across some pipes or some shit, and I was like, what the fuck is this a shot of? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
but you see his like arms coming in the side. You're like, ugh.
Yeah, I kind of thought they were gonna have him be like this sort of like shadow, like, no, he's not a physical thing right now, but no, he is, and his arms come on either side of the camera. Like
Also, the shot where they find him after having escaped from the chair, and he's just on the ceiling, but it's like it was so funny.
yeah, it was like they
That
watched.
shot of just him just upside down on the ceiling. Like they come in. Is that supposed to be like shot? Oh my god! Ah shit! Fuck man!
So you know when they
fucking
open
Morbius on the ceiling,
Batman v Superman,
it just looked so stupid.
because in Batman v Superman you got Batman,
yeah.
and he's like there in the corner, and he's like, and it like kind of it's a bit funny, but it kind of works. You get the point. But it feels like they watched that and they were like, yeah, Batman, Morbius, kind of similar, but they couldn't quite work out how to do it in a closed off room. So he's just sort of there, like on all fours on the ceiling, and he's still.
It looks so fucking stupid.
Dr. Skinny Michael Morbius at this point as well. So he's weirdly gangly and.
A few questions about the transformation.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got written: Are bats jacked? Bat DNA is ripped? Question mark.
Yeah, I mean, because they fly. Muscly arms.
Yeah, but not really though.
Muscly arms. Yeah, but spiders aren't. But Spider-Man's ripped. Same logic. If you get any animal DNA in you, you're ripped.
I think it would have made more sense if he stayed skinny, frail Morbius. Because
it would have been scarier
better as well.
Yeah,
it would have been scarier. That fits the vampire thing better. Not to say that frail, ill people are scary.
No, but he was creepy looking, like intentionally.
He was creepy looking.
Like he was like that was the point.
Also, bat magic. Where in a bat's DNA
is all the magic bits?
All the magic.
Yeah,
where
all
does
the
magic
weird
come
purple,
from?
smoky stuff, and
the ability to just sort of fly and like teleport around a bit.
Hang on a sec, you do sound a bit stupid now. The ability to fly is a bad thing, but
that's because
to hover
wings.
and to weirdly float about, because he flies like a bit of paper on the wind. He doesn't even
I know.
He doesn't Superman fly.
If he grew wings, like because of the bat DNA, that would be pretty cool. Sure, Morbius, have your wings, but also because of the way that bat wings are, they'd have to just come out of the bottom of his arms.
No, awesome.
So he'd have to actually flap around.
Awesome.
That would look.
It would look better though. No, because it looks like he just sort of flattens himself out like a bit of paper.
Yeah.
But he's just sort of, kind of just becomes. I don't know, like he becomes weirdly flat and wide and like just floats on the wind. And I don't get it, because he can also see where he can fly. It seems he can't always just fly. Like he gets that weird spidey sense, wind vision, and then flies on that.
Because the one where he jumps in front of the bit where he first flies and he jumps in front of the tube.
Yeah.
Or the subway or whatever it's called.
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
And he just like, he's just sort of like, oh shit, fuck, I guess probably, because like, how does he know that he can do that? Because that's the first time he does it in the movie, isn't it?
Yeah, but he has the same weird wind stuff when he's on top of the building and he drops the backpack and gets caught by the police, and he's like at the edge and he just sort of stops. Like, just do it, just jump. You know your superpower, just jump. Like, otherwise you're going to jail. And like, I know jail isn't much of a threat because he can just run through the wall, but like,
I know. Also though, is he in this universe? No, he's not, because they've got Venom, right?
What, is he the only superpower? But no, yeah. But they also have a Spider-Man, because he knows who Spider-Man is. That's another thing for a later. That's, at the minute that's irrelevant, but like,
Which I guess maybe that explains why the police are so quick to go, oh yeah, this must be a vampire.
Yeah, because they say it's like the thing in San Francisco, but they don't have vampires yet.
No, but like, I guess they've got some shit going on that means that they're a little less skeptical than one normally would be. But when they find all these bodies just like drained of blood, and then they go, oh, you're probably a vampire. Neither of them are like, yeah, but what the fuck?
Yeah, both of them are just cool.
They're both just like, yes, yeah, you're probably right, man. Probably.
Oh, so that's the back to the. So when they first initially, like, they establish it's a vampire, I guess they establish it. The stupid line on the boat, and we're all over the place with this review, but so's the movie. Where they're like, so you've got all the mercenaries, they're dead on the boat, and he's just like, well, they all shop at the same mercenary clothes store. Like, yes, they're a mercenary crew. They're not just going to be like, oh, where'd you get your clothes from? Oh, yeah, no, I got mine from Hollister. Like, just different places. Like, yes, they probably have
a bunch of like
issued uniform
thugs wearing Jack Wills.
Yeah, like obviously they shop at the same, like, or at the very least they're going to be wearing similar mercenary clothing. Like, why is that the thing he picks up on? Why is he like, oh bloody clothes? They're similar. Like, that wouldn't be what you would pick up on there. I'd be like, oh my god, look at the blood everywhere.
Never found
or no blood.
Mercenary squad drained of all their blood before.
Has he ever seen a mercenary squad? Because you would assume he has, but he's like, does he know? Is he aware of the concept of the military? Because they definitely all shop at the same clothes store. Like,
he's a fucking policeman.
They have uniforms. He's like, oh, they wear the same clothes. Yeah. He doesn't know about the workforce. Like, he's not aware of it yet, and like uniforms, he doesn't know what's going on.
He doesn't get it. Because he's the detective, he doesn't have to wear one. He can sort of walk around in his
he just gets his badge.
Silly little office wear.
I would have really liked it if someone later in the movie was like, "Would you go to the same police badge shop with your police badges around your neck?"
We'll go to the
same. Got us.
Own him. We'll go to the same silly little pistol shop. We'll go to the same.
You could buy the same guns from the same place.
We'll go to the same police hat shop.
To be fair, they don't wear police hats. They should though. Not because I think that they should have a uniform. I just think it would be funnier if they had police hats on. But like classic, like London policeman. Excellent. Or like or just any hat that says police on it. I think that would be quite good. The merch from the band, the police.
Like there's like headbands. There's that game headbands.
With the police, with a card saying
it just says police.
Yeah, police.
Or it's just got like a little picture of like a flashing police, like one of the lights on top of the cars.
Yeah, just a picture of that. One of those hats with the sirens on top.
Yeah.
One of them, that would be excellent. It would fit the tone of the movie. I wouldn't be this. It says a lot about the movie when if they were actually wearing police sirens on their head, that wouldn't be the thing that I would find weirdest. Like that would just be like to
be fair, that would probably I'd probably gloss over that.
I would completely miss it. Yeah, because there's so much in this movie that is just wow. Like, so all of it, we're saying all of this, but like genuinely, this is as much as we can do of a review, because everything that happens in this movie, you question like, to what end? Like, lots happens, but why and how? And like, for example, like the movie could and reasonably should just end after Morbius finds his Morbius cure and he's a vampire. That is where the plot kind of ends. So like, I got the synopsis right here, and it says, biochemist Michael Morbius tries to cure himself of a rare blood disease, but when his experiment goes wrong, he inadvertently infects himself with a form of vampirism instead. Yeah, that's it. That is the plot, right? Until it's not, and then just thing after thing is happening, and so Milo infects himself, and it just becomes this weird vampire chase movie. Except Morbius doesn't seem all that fussed about tracking down Milo until like the end.
Oh, dude, the shot where him and Martine kiss,
where they kiss, and he's just watching. It's so funny.
He's just standing in front
of
the tracks. It's like peering across the city.
Odd.
Hilarious.
How far away is he though? Because it makes it look like he is
like a little
it makes it look like he is like the other side of the city, the way it pans out, but also like there's a little bit of train track, maybe about 200 meters away from him, so maybe he's stood there, which would make sense because maybe you could see. But it frames it as though maybe he's heard them kissing because they've got echolocation, so he's just stood there like listening from
just hearing you like
but like
he's like,
and also it is the most hideous cinema kiss of all time. Like, it was actively off-putting. I don't know what was going on. No, that's not the kiss. No, that's not the kiss. The final kiss is the most off-putting kiss
horrendous
ever.
Disgusting.
Oh, that is grim. But that makes more sense for him to be watching.
Yeah, but she bites his lip, right?
I don't know. I can't tell. It just looked like he just sort of like it looked like he just sort of dribbled it.
I presume that's like part of the maybe like sequel setup or something. Maybe.
Yeah, no, of
Was
course it
that
is.
she's a vampire.
Yeah,
Now.
she's a vampire now.
So
Is she a good
presumably,
vampire or a bad vampire?
fuck knows. But presumably Matt Smith turned her into one. Yes.
No, I think
Um,
I think that kiss. I think that turned her into one because he just sort of sticks his. Matt Smith just sticks his. For the record, everyone, Matt Smith is Milo. He just sort of sticks his claw into her throat, right? And she's like, Michael, and he hears her from across the city. I don't think,
yeah.
at least it doesn't show him to. So I assume it was the kiss, which suggests that if Morbius kisses someone, they turn into a vampire.
But no, because
Unless he bit
she
her.
bites. So she bites his lip like quite hard, hard enough to draw like a considerable amount of blood.
Can he drink his own blood?
I don't know. That's a good question. Probably not.
Because whose blood is that in the freezer? Is that his blood or is that someone else's blood?
I was just probably.
I assume it's test subjects, but like,
Yeah.
it could be his.
Yeah, I doubt it. That would be a bit strange. Although to be fair, I guess if he took it out and then like built up the
he doesn't have enough blood to take out. Actually,
no,
that's part of his problem. Is he's dying. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Also, he's got sick, ill person's blood, doesn't he? He doesn't.
Yeah, but can he drink sick, ill person's blood? No, I think he'd be fine because he like he's. I guess he has a healing factor of some kind. Because he's suddenly he goes from being skinny. The fact that he can just change from skinny Michael Morbius to ripped Michael Morbius like throughout the film is excellent, and I love that. But I would assume
he doesn't change from skinny to ripped like after turning ripped though, does he?
I think he turns a bit skinny again, doesn't he?
Oh shit!
I don't know. Doesn't he when he's in the chamber and Matt Smith comes in and he's writing blood on the glass? Isn't he skinny then, or is he just vampire Morbius?
No, he goes skinny again, doesn't he? Because
he does go skinny. I thought he went skinny.
Yeah.
You had me doubting myself.
Yeah,
but
right.
I could have sworn he went to skinny Morbius again.
Yeah, he does. He does. Because he runs out of blood or some shit. Other thing, what are his powers? And I know I've already asked this, and why does he get magical powers from bat DNA? Because bats don't have magic in their DNA unless they do in this universe. But in which case, why do people not know?
They do in our universe. They do. We just aren't allowed to harness it. It's unethical.
But
that's a magic.
You can just so he summons bats.
Yeah. Well, I was going to get into this at the end, but that's the thing. Is he? So the final fight is basically Morbius versus another Morbius. Excellent.
Well, in true Sony,
yeah. So like Venom fights like 4 different Venoms in his films, but so he fights a Morbius. Earlier in the movie, Morbius goes into the back enclosure and he's like, I'm their brother. I have a real kinship with them now that I've got their blood in me. But then when he's about to get like, let's be honest, like fucked up by Milo, he's just like, I'm going to call all the bats. And he called all of the bats. And I don't, where are they from? Are they New York bats or are they the Costa Rican bats? Because there were not that many bats earlier in the film. There are millions of bats. And he calls them all and they attack. And I guess kind of, they beat Milo. But how? Because because they would be like, he's got their blood in too, or he's got their DNA too. So wouldn't he get that kinship with them, as they called it?
Apparently not.
Why do they not like him?
Because Dr. Michael Morbius is telling them.
Is he putting out commands over these sonar? Is he like, I know that there'll be 2 of us here, but one of us is English, and that one, he's a bad one. Attack him. And they're like, all the bats are like, yeah, fuck him. They take a second to work it out, and they're like, he looks English. In a sense, he's ugly.
they're like, have we seen him in Doctor Who?
Isn't he Doctor Who?
Is that Doctor Who?
Because
I'm nearing the end of my notes.
I got notes on notes, baby. But the point of Morbius, of this whole thing of what I guess we're trying to say, and it might sound like we've just muddled our way through a mess of like we've got it all out of order and all these weird things are happening. But what I think you have to understand is that is Morbius. Like Morbius is, he muddles his way through what? Like
Yeah.
Because here's another thing. Here's another note I've got is Morbius makes a thing that is supposed to kill bats and people, which a gun would kill both bats and people, but he makes this cure that is magic because it will kill bats and it will kill people. And he makes one, he makes two, and Martine is like, why are you making two? And he's like, because I gotta kill myself. And then he doesn't. And he kills because he's like, I won't ever in 2 days I'll run out of blood and I'm not going to kill again, so I gotta die.
I think it's just because I sort of got the impression that it was just because Martine and Milo are now both dead and he doesn't have anything to live for anymore, so he doesn't care. But then
no, but it never says that. Like it never even alludes to that. Like I get what you're trying to do, but it doesn't allude to that. This is poor writing. Thank you for trying to do what Daniel Espinosa couldn't, which is direct a movie. But that's not our job. Our job is to shit on this movie, and this movie is so easy to shit on. Yeah, right. I saw an interview with the woman who played Martine earlier. I can't remember her name, and she's like, Jared Leto is a method actor, and it's great. But the real thing that held the movie together was Daniel Espinosa. How did he hold the movie together? Have you seen the movie, Martine?
What did he do?
The actor for Martine. I think, to be fair, I think any director that's directing a film with Jared Leto, fair play.
Yeah.
Because if he turned on set and he was drinking a blood smoothie, I'd punch him, like in the nose. I'd just be like, "Fuck off, Jared Leto! Fuck out of here!"
Method acting just must be bullshit.
Yeah. Because I can kind of get it sometimes. But no, so he's gonna kill himself, and then he doesn't. And I feel as though at this point,
disappointment in cinematic history.
Biggest disappointment in cinematic history is that Morbius didn't kill himself. But also, this is where we are now going to go into how do we know he didn't kill himself? Because they absolutely spoiled us with 2 end credit scenes. Can you believe it? Can you imagine what would be in 2 end credit scenes? What great things.
End credit scenes. Appalling. Just before we talk about the end credit scenes, I just want to say that all of the CGI is horrible in that movie.
Oh, sure. All of it's bad. No, but that goes, people have seen the trailers. It's not good. Yeah, but
there's a couple bits like
they use the best bits in the trailers.
Yeah. The ear looks kind of cool.
The ear looks like the inside of a mushroom.
Yeah.
If you get a mushroom and turn it upside down.
Yeah. But it was like, it was kind of weird, but I kind of didn't like it. Was it the weird eyes that happen?
Yeah, I kept thinking about that.
People see that?
Yes, because when he does it, he looks down. He's got his hoodie on and he looks down, so the police officers don't see his weird eyes. Do you remember that?
Because that is weird. Yeah, okay. Because that is weird. And why are they doing that? And physically, what's happening there? How is that helping him see?
That was Jared Leto method acting. They actually went on set and they were like, Jared, can you stop doing the weird eye thing? And he's like, helps me get into character. So they let him do it. Yeah, they let him.
The horrible weird trails that he leaves behind when he does his Morbius.
The weird purple trail.
Yeah, done like that.
What one does Milo leave behind? Does he have a coloured trail? Is that how we distinguish them? Orange.
I think they're just coloured similarly to what clothes they're wearing. And Morbius in the last bit is wearing that.
Next, he does purple all the way through the film.
He's got his
Yeah, he does purple.
No, he doesn't when he's got his orange thing on. When he's got his orange jumpsuit.
Oh, he does orange ones, doesn't he? Yeah, he does orange ones. So it is just their clothes colour. So stupid because it doesn't suggest that it's just them like blurred. It looks like trails coming off them.
Yeah. Also, just another quick point. The police are totally fucking useless.
No, they're good. They worked out as a vampire immediately.
They do absolutely nothing. Also, what, like, they take him in and they're questioning him and fucking Rodriguez or whatever he's called is just being he's just being all like sarky. It's like, this dude, you know that this man drained the entirety of multiple people's blood by drinking it.
I mean, he could just do it to you at any moment. He's strong enough.
You've also seen him just like leap up through the middle of that building, like that staircase, and like this is like yeah, you
How
came to the
do
conclusion,
they?
rightly so, that this is a fucking vampire, and he's also a jacked fucking vampire. And so, and what? And you're just gonna sit across the fucking interrogation table and go, "Buh, buh, buh." Like, no, fuck, no, you're a fucking idiot. You're a stupid man. And it's like not funny or clever or cool in the way that occasionally some of those little Marvel quips of those characters are when they're being all sarky.
No, but they're not though, are they? For the most part.
No, for the most part, they're shit. But
Yeah.
occasionally they're like a bit
Moon Knight's good, where he's like, "Why are you calling me Mark?
Why did you call me?
Why did you call me Mark?
Why did you call me Mark?"
This is another bit that we're doing, everyone. We're all the way through.
I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
All the way through, we're going to do Oscar Isaac doing a British accent, which is funny because we have British accents. So we're going to put on a British accent to do that bit.
It's just, and it's because it always feels forced in those Marvel films, right? And I feel like it's got worse over time though.
No, it has.
Like they haven't always been that quippy. And I haven't seen all of the Marvel movies. Like I've never got that.
I haven't seen the last two. I haven't seen Shang-Chi or The Eternals.
No, neither.
I've seen the bloody rest.
I'm never going to watch The Eternals.
I feel like I have to. I feel obliged to. Not because for any reason.
So boring, and also they're not characters that I know or care about outside of that. So it's just like, and they all just sort of shoot lasers and shit. Like, okay,
yeah,
cool,
pretty much. There's a Bollywood dance scene in it though.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I don't get why. I don't know how they incorporate that because I haven't seen it, but it is in there. Which is good. They could have done with that in Morbius, just thrown in a Greek dance scene. Is he Greek? He's not Greek, right?
No, I don't think so. We were talking about the end credit scenes.
Yeah.
Because they were, Jesus. So the first one, Michael Keaton teleports into a jail cell and is immediately released.
It's really good that there's a jail cell in the exact same place in that multiverse that he was. Because can you imagine if he just spawned into a wall? Like he just dies because he's just in a wall.
What if it was built like half a meter to the left,
like 5 foot forward? Universe. Yeah,
and he just appears. Yeah, just like just is like cut in half instantly by a wall.
Yeah. But the other thing is, to clarify, he is in a jail cell in a prison outfit with no vulture costume in sight, like nothing.
Yeah,
at all. And his vulture costume, I assume, isn't included in the Doctor Strange spell that teleports him across into the multiverse. So how does he get that?
I don't know.
See, I had a theory earlier. I phoned you and I said, do you think he stole it off that universe's vulture, and that universe's vulture was like asleep in his vulture costume and he like wakes up naked and he's like, where did my vulture costume go? This Michael Keaton's one nicked it.
Yeah, but is there a vulture in that universe?
If it's the Amazing Spider-Man one, yes, because there's the vulture wings in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 in the villain basement.
But no, Michael Keaton came from the Amazing Spider-Man.
No, he came from Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He fights Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the first one.
Shit,
this is the sort of thing you should know watching Morbius, watching the Spider-Man extended universe movies.
So presumably, this is now the Amazing Spider-Man universe.
Well, we think nobody knows, but we assume because it's Sony. So that's the only one that Sony like fully controls currently. So Tobey Maguire's one is done, and obviously it's not Tobey Maguire's one, because Venom's in Tobey Maguire's one. So this is the Venom universe. Tom Holland's one is separate, and they've made that so clear. In the sense, they'd literally rather lose villains and send them to that universe than let Morbius be in Tom Holland's universe. Which means must be Andrew Garfield's, right? Like, it's poor Andrew Garfield.
Or it's just I know. Or it's just a completely new one. But then,
they've said there is one of the existing Spider-Mans. The Daniel Espinosa just completely spoiled the movie the other day before it even came out, and there is one of the 3 Spider-Men in it, and it's going to be Andrew Garfield.
Wait, what, in the universe?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Where is he? What's he doing?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was just gonna say, because so if that is the case, right? Where like
Oh no, because he would have, because the end credit scene takes place during No Way Home, so he would have been in No Way Home.
Oh, okay. So that's
fair play, Andrew.
Right.
We'll let you off, but only for a day.
Yeah,
actually.
literally for
so
a day.
Where is he for the first 4 days? What are you doing? Be up some.
Yeah, Jesus.
I'm convinced Morbius would kill Spider-Man though in this film. I know that but I just think that Morbius could just fly him through a wall and then bite him in the face.
Yeah, but so
like really hard.
Spider-Man's poor.
Nah, not Dr. Octopus. That's just an unfit bloke in tentacles.
Why does so when Dr. Octopus fights Spider-Man and he does a little thing where he grabs his head with his little arms?
Yeah. Just squeeze it.
Crush his skull.
Just do it.
Why just do it?
Yeah, just do it. But then also, why when Spider-Man's fighting Dr. Octopus doesn't he just punch his head off? Because Dr. Octopus is a regular man. just punch him through the face. I know that Spider-Man doesn't kill.
Spidey doesn't kill.
Oh, just knock him out, man.
Dr. Octopus has no qualms.
Just knock him out. How much are you holding back? How much is Spider-Man holding back?
Yeah, because he lands some hits.
Yeah. Right? I'm pretty convinced.
Instant KO.
So say Dr. Octopus is just Alfred Molina. It's Alfred Molina in real life, and you're in a fight with Alfred Molina. I'm pretty convinced you could knock Alfred Molina out.
Alfred Molina's made of lead.
Oh, okay. There is that technicality. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that you couldn't.
He's made of lead and brick.
You think that's why they cast him, so he could do his own stunt? They needed an old man who could do his own stunts. So they were like, "You're made of lead.
Yeah.
You can do it.
You're made of lead bricks and
lead and bricks. Yeah,
lead bricks and sand.
This is really Tom Holland's just punching him in the face.
You could probably hold your own in this fight against Tom Holland
and Tobey Maguire. Crown Jewels of England, Tom Holland. That's a bit from our regular lives that we're doing there. Just so everyone knows, it's a callback to our real lives where we talk. Aside from this, outside of this brand new podcast, we actually do live lives aside from that.
Jesus, but the fucking end credit scene though, right?
No, man, yeah, back to it.
So Michael Keaton in the second one that they do so close together because they know that people aren't sitting through that. Because people don't want to sit through the rest of the credits for that fucking movie that they hated. They're just like, let's just get them out. Let's just get them out one after the other. Just because they pretty much are back to back.
I was stood at the door watching them. I actually had got up, walked down to the door, watched them from the door, and then walked out afterwards. I was the only person. People sat and watched for a third. I left. I was done. Yeah. I knew what there was. To be fair.
Michael Keaton flies up in his presumably stolen or really quickly cobbled together new vulture suit.
Yeah, or he's just nipped back into the old multiverse, grabbed it, come back. Yeah.
And just delivers the most bizarrely wooden set of lines ever.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
He
just goes I can't remember what he says.
He says, "Oh, I just woke up in this universe. Must have been something to do with Spider-Man. So anyway, I'm thinking we should team up." And Morbius is like, interesting. Because he would in this I'm Morbius and I'm thinking, who is Spider-Man? Also, why are we teaming up? Because Spider-Man's never wrong. I've never met Spider-Man. He's not wronged me yet. Also, I'm not murdering again. I was going to kill myself not but 2 hours ago. And also, who are you? I know they phoned.
Yeah.
I know that it's implied they had phoned before this because Morbius drove out to the desert in his nice Porsche, which I assume is product placement.
That bit looks like a car advert. That was so weird. That's shot. That looks like it was shot by a different director, which it probably.
I mean, it definitely was because the whole scene is tonally off. It's weird.
Yeah, it's just completely different.
I mean, the whole film is tonally off, but the scene
it looks like a perfume advert, that whole bit at the end where he goes out to the desert. It's Jared Leto in a nice car and he steps out and then the vulture turns up and it's like, okay. And then he goes, I think that a group of people like us, maybe we could benefit from getting together and we could do some real.
But again, I'd be like, what? Why? Why would you think that I would be interested in this? Why would you think that I know I've done some vampire murders, but that's not even the Vulture's whole deal. The Vulture's whole deal was stealing some stuff to make some money for his daughter. And suddenly he's fully on the murder train and he's like, I'm going to recruit mass vampire murderer. Why wouldn't you go to Venom?
Do after that?
Yeah, does the Vulture just fly? Do you think he just gets in there? Do you think he's like, can I have a lift pack? He's like, I'm out of fuel. Can I have a lift pack? I'm gonna go back to the city.
His vulture outfit.
What do you think Morbius gets back in the car and he's like, I got no petrol. Do you want to carry me back to the city?
Just like,
do they fly off next to each other? Do you think they'd fly off next to each other?
What, Jared Leto just leaves his car?
Yeah.
It's in the desert.
He doesn't need it anymore.
This is true. He can fly.
Why does he drive out to the desert? It would be eco-friendly to just
why don't they
fly?
both just fly?
Why don't they just meet in the city?
Yeah, and maybe the vulture could just not wear his stupid costume.
Yeah, and also he gets released from prison on the grounds of his crimes weren't. Well, they don't say it, but his crimes weren't committed in that universe. So they're just like they don't bother to put him on trial and find out what he's done. They're just like, whatever, because he could be like he could be child cannibal Adrian Toomes. They're like, I assume they're like, oh, we've got an Adrian Toomes in this universe. He's the vulture. Whatever. Like, but he could stand trial and be like, oh yeah, so I ate 13 children and I'm gonna do it again. Like, I will do it again if you let me out. But instead they're just like, yeah, he'll stand a trial and he'll be let out immediately. And he just leaves. And then he's free to just go and nick a vulture suit.
Stand a trial for what? Because they don't know who he is.
Or what he's done. How do they know he's Adrian Toomes? Yeah. Because they'd just be like, what? You weren't in the what?
Yeah.
Does he say he's Adrian Toomes? Do you trust that?
Who are you? How did you get here?
If a guy teleported, if a guy appeared behind me in my living room and was like, oh, I'm Adrian Toomes, I'd be like, how do I know? And also like, I'm not fine with you being here. No. Like, yeah, I wouldn't then just be fine with him wandering about. I'd be like, what is going, like, what did you do? Who are you? Yeah. Because they're not aware of the multiverse yet either, I would assume, like everyday people.
Yeah.
And also,
it's just like some dude appeared, some guy appeared, and we're gonna let him off.
We're letting him know. He's in a prison outfit, so we assume he was in prison wherever he was, but that's not our problem. Really good
point, actually. He appears into the universe already in a prison.
If he just appeared like in his undies or he was in pajamas, I'd be like, oh, you're like, I feel sorry for you, man. You've like come into the worst place you could have.
You obviously weren't supposed to be here.
But he's in a prison getup, so you would look at him and you would be like, obviously you have done something worthy of being in prison in your last universe. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold you here until we can work out, the procedure.
What the fuck is going on?
Because people have been in prison for less than appearing. Like, I guarantee you, if someone just appeared through the multiverse in a government facility or a prison, they would stay there for the rest of their life. Like, there is no way they would be leaving. They would run tests. They would extensively grill that person. They would also then try and look for someone like that in this world, but instead they're just like, whatever. Yeah, like, you've got some exposition to do.
This is a universe in which there's just a couple of vampires and they're just there's also Venom, there's also Spider-Man.
There is also
just
Spider-Man.
There's like a bunch of just shit going
on. And that would also mean if there is also Spider-Man, there's all of the villains from the Amazing Spider-Man films.
Yeah, so there was Electro.
Yeah, and there was Paul Giamatti in a rhino costume.
Yeah.
There was the new Goblin, the Lizard. Yeah. Goblin. There was also the regular Green Goblin because Norman Osborn's dead, but he wasn't the Green Goblin yet. But then he also has that basement with all the villains' origin stuff. There's a Venom. There is a Venom in that villain basement, but then Venom comes from space in Venom. So there are two is this a Venom that they have previously taken from
parallel Venoms?
That would be a great movie, is where a second person just gets that Venom costume and they're both like, what do we do now? I mean, we're assuming,
but they can't just get Venom to fight another Venom again.
They wouldn't be that bold, would they? They wouldn't be, because Morbius 2 is looking set to be Morbius against Morbius's girlfriend, who's another Morbius. Like,
Morbius fights Morbius again.
We can assume that's what it was, because that's what Venom 2 was. Venom fights another two Venoms again. Like, you've seen it before. You've seen him fight two Venoms before, but you best believe there are two more Venoms he's going to fight in this
There's
film.
Two more Venoms. All up in this bitch.
And Venom's supposed to be the worst. This is a separate quick discussion we're doing now, but Venom is supposed to be like the worst of his kind. Like, everyone's in that film, he's like, oh, everyone picked on me on my home planet. I kind of sucked. But he's just dispatching other Venoms left, right, and center. Like, he is committing Venom murder throughout those films. And he expects us to believe that he's the worst Venom. I would suggest that he's maybe the best Venom. I would suggest maybe he was picked on because he's just a psychopath. Like he's just killing Venoms.
Yeah, maybe all the other Venom. Also, what goes on in the planet for the Venoms?
Yeah, because they're just goo until they pick a different host. So they just sort of
Yeah.
sliming about. I mean, there are comic books
Or
covering this, but
they
just
all
in the
do-
movies, like, what do they do?
Oh, it's April Fool's Day. I'm gonna deliver you an April Fool.
You can April Fool us before the end of the podcast. April Fool us and me and the listeners.
I'm gonna April Fool the absolute hell out of you.
I feel like the real April Fools are the people who watch Morbius.
They are.
Or hey,
They are the real April Fools.
I hope that Daniel Espinosa isn't one of our. No, do you know what? I hope he is one of our listeners. I hope we get release this first episode and Daniel Espinosa sees it on Spotify, and he's like, I'm gonna give Cloven Hoof episode 1 Morbius a listen. I hope so.
Stupid movie.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't get a sequel. That's, I guess, the final question before we wrap up the Morbius section is: will we get Morbius 2?
I hope not.
I hope so. I really hope we do.
I don't want to watch another Morbius film, and I know that if they do make Morbius,
we'll see it.
We will have to see it because we'll have to talk about it now.
It'd be funny if we didn't. It'd be funny if we just watched it, didn't talk about it. We never make reference to it.
I don't know. I just like, it doesn't make sense for them to make it because this is not going to do well. This is not going to do well.
No, so it's got a budget of $75 million, but I don't think it's going to make it.
No, it's not going to make that back. No. It might make it back, but
like, it won't. I think it'll do like 70, and then you've got to cover then marketing, and you've got to cover all of the other things. That you've got to cover reshoots, because there have been reshoots. So you're probably going to have to do like 300 million, 400 million to like break even.
Yeah,
I can't see them hitting 100. No. Maybe they will, because it is a Marvel movie at the end of the day. But
it is a Marvel movie, but also it's a Marvel movie that is about a character that no one really gives that much of a shit about.
With an actor no one likes.
With an actor, no. Well, I mean, a lot of people do like him. We just
but like a lot of people because you were on the phone to me earlier and you said, "Oh, Jared Leto's trending," and it was all just stuff about how terrible he is in this movie. I mean, he's not awful in it. Like, he isn't terrible in it. I don't like him, but he's not terrible in it. But nobody likes him. Like, other than fans of 30 Seconds to Mars.
Jared Leto aside, the fact that in the trailers originally there were like he makes the Venom joke, but he doesn't make it the same as.
No, he doesn't. It's not a joke in the film. It's just a thing he does.
He just says, "I'm Venom" for some reason.
Yeah.
So presumably Venom is in this universe.
No, Venom is because they say about the San Francisco thing, so he is in.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, but like they took all the Spider-Man stuff out of the trailer. There's no Spider-Man reference except in the credit scene where Vulture says, "Oh, I think this might have something to do with Spider-Man." It's really weird.
Yeah.
But it's like.
So why would you think that? He has no reason to think that because Spider-Man's he isn't like a multi-dimensional hero.
Yes, it's when Spider-Man shoot people between dimensions.
And he's in prison, so he can't watch the news and know what's going on with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. He just woke up in that prison and was like, I bet it was Spider-Man. It was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, really man. Weird. Fuck those post-credit scenes. They are bad. They are the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Easily.
But so this is obviously like just through the trailer thing with all the Spider-Man references being removed. It's obvious that
damage control.
That they're trying to Yeah.
And
like if this were to do well, then they'd probably have to get Morbius back in and do a sequel and have him appear in other movies and shit.
They have to do a Sinister Six movie now. The end credit scenes, they have to do it. They can't just now release those end credit scenes.
But they don't have to make another Morbius film.
No, but he has to be in it. Unless they do a Sinister Six movie and Michael Keaton's like, oh, Morbius disappeared, probably a Spider-Man thing. Then that's it. They never mention it. I reckon
it's got something to do with Spider-Man. Morbius appears to have gone.
He's disappeared.
Spider-Man.
Morbius wakes up in another dimension. He's murdering as a vampire, but they're like, we can't charge you for this. You're from a different universe. We can't possibly punish you. Get out of here.
He's like, oh, I think this has only got something to do with Spider-Man.
That is exactly that. It wouldn't surprise me. They do Sinister Six, and it probably is going to have, like, who can you take from the side? They probably got Venom, Vulture. They've probably got Electro, because I guess they can still use him. He's dead, but they can probably still find a way. They'll probably have New Goblin. Does New Goblin die in those films? I don't know. They got Paul Giamatti's Rhino. It's going to be the most cobbled together, hideous Sinister Six, and poor Andrew Garfield is going to have to promote that movie for like a year.
Poor Andrew Garfield.
Poor Andrew Garfield. He missed out on the Oscars, and he is also now going to have to do this.
Yeah,
I feel sorry for that man.
Oh man.
But I feel as though we've covered Morbius. So this is you of course know this. Everyone knows this. Everyone in the world knows this. Morbius made his comic book debut in 1971. Many things happened. That's not all. Yeah, that's not all that happened in 1971. Many things happened. For example, 1971 was 2 years after one of the moon landings. So that's good. But also, fun fact, also 1971 was 3 years before my dad was born. So that's good.
It was 1 year before my dad was born. You got a young ass dad.
A lot happened in 1971. But also, most importantly, what happened in 1971? The Oregon Trail, the educational video game, computer-based, text-based game, the Oregon Trail.
Yeah! I love the Oregon Trail. I loved playing the Oregon Trail. We played it again earlier. We screen shared on Zoom. Josh played the Oregon Trail with all the characters from Morbius.
We named all the characters after.
What a game!
Oh, hang on a sec. We're not done with Morbius. We did have all the characters named after Morbius. One of them was Coma Girl. They put a girl into a coma and they never bring her out.
Yeah, they just never wake her back up.
It's a plot point. They put her into the coma and they never bring her out. They don't find a cure. I mean, they do find a cure, but it would turn her into a murderous vampire. And then they never wake her up. So basically, I think what they've done is kill the girl.
Just killed the terminal.
Or left her in a coma forever, because that lab is presumably shut down as well because it's a crime scene.
Yeah.
So that girl is.
Also, Morbius is just gone.
Yeah, that girl's as good as dead.
Yeah.
Anyway,
both of the leading doctors in the field
who are looking vampires now
have turned into vampires.
Oh, that movie. Oh, Oregon Trail. Let me loudly and audibly turn over to my Oregon Trail notes. This is going to be picked up on the microphone and everyone can listen. You would have heard that. Yeah.
I heard that.
Whoa. It is more fun, Morbius fun than Morbius, in the sense that
considerably.
Yeah, I would happily play the Oregon Trail right now for an hour and a half. If you asked me to watch Morbius again,
I play 3 hours of the fucking Oregon Trail over watching Morbius again.
If you had to watch a Morbius sequel, or you had to play the Oregon Trail every day for the next year, you have to play half an hour of the Oregon Trail every day for the next year, or watch a Morbius sequel. What should you do?
Yeah, I'm gonna do some maths. Yeah, so 365 times 30, and then divided by.
This is the maths segment of the podcast. This is the maths minute that we have.
60. Will that give me hours?
Sure.
There's 182.5 hours.
Would you rather play 182.5 hours? You don't have to play it 182 hours straight, but over the next year,
get out of the way.
You can.
Because then if you divide that by 24, that's a week.
Would you rather play a week of the Oregon Trail, or would you rather watch a Morbius sequel?
Well, it's like a week and then half a day. I would probably rather watch a Morbius sequel than play a week straight of the Oregon Trail with no sleep.
No, you can. Nobody said you had to do. I suggested that you spread it out over a year. You wanted to do it. You wanted to do it dead straight. So over the year, would you rather play half an hour a day or watch a Morbius sequel?
I probably would rather play half an hour a day.
Yeah, so would I. That was the right answer. That's where I was hoping we'd get. Because it is more fun. Which, can you imagine you time travel back to 1971 and it's 3 people who worked on the Oregon Trail, and you went back into their room and you were like, in 40 years, there is going to be a blockbuster hit movie. It's going to have technology you could never imagine, and it's going to have a pretty good cast. But your text-based game is going to be better,
more fun.
And they'll be like, "What is that game? That movie?" And we'll be like, I don't think you would have heard of it because that character's just come out."
He's just come out.
Morbius. Are you aware of Spider-Man's villain Morbius? Are you aware? He will one day have a movie. I don't think anyone would have believed you ever. But yeah, it is better. And I'm amazed that they haven't, like, at least attempted a big budget, like AAA remake of the Oregon Trail. I know that's basically Red Dead 2. Not 1, because 2 is a bit more in depth. But I'm amazed they haven't. I'm amazed that like EA haven't picked up the rights to the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Right, because it's an educational text-based game about the Oregon Trail. But there is, I'm not saying there's potential for a good big budget remake, but I'm amazed they haven't yet.
Yeah.
Because they do with everything. Have you seen, you probably haven't, but have you seen the Wii third person Oregon Trail?
No.
Oh, it is rough. I watched gameplay of it. Probably, when did we say we were going to do Oregon Trail? Probably like a month ago. I watched gameplay.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It looks like if you ran, so you know when people run Doom like on calculators, it looks like if you ran Red Dead on a calculator, but like
I'm looking at it now. That's bad.
Yeah, but for, like, fair play.
For the Wii.
No, there were like the Wii it's a bit of a joke now, but the Wii was better than that.
What is this? Some kind of Clash of Clans-esque?
What? What, are you watching the Wii gameplay?
No, I'm just looking at. I just found a screenshot of some sort of
Oregon Trail. Yeah, Oregon Trail HD
mobile game.
Yeah, so Oregon Trail HD. This is on our list. We were going to talk about different versions of it. Oregon Trail HD was a mobile game, and I think it's since discontinued. And it's for the listeners, he's talking about flatmates. He's not telling me to shut up as I talk about the Oregon Trail. Just shut up now. I'm done.
Shut up.
He's quit in the first episode. This is unprecedented, guys.
Fuck off. I'm not doing
I'm
this
done.
shit anymore, man.
I'm also done with this. I quit. We're just gonna leave this recording forever. Just walk off.
Just fuck off. Yeah.
But no, there's the Oregon Trail HD, and it's essentially a mobile game where it was like, imagine all of the, you get those ads where it like lets you play a bit of the game before it tricks you and then sends you. It's like Oregon Trail themed versions of all of them. So like you say, there's like Clash of Clans, and there's like a million different puzzle games, and it's not the Oregon Trail, but like it is as well in theme and in name.
I'm really intrigued by this Wii game version of it.
Yeah, it looks terrible, but intriguing. There was little Wii
Castaway on the Wii.
We joke.
Wow.
So this is, I guess, if this podcast picks up some traction, should we buy the Oregon Trail on the Wii for 99 pence?
Can you buy it for 99 pence?
Yeah, on eBay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right. Great. We're going to buy that game if this episode gets more than 10 listeners. Which, if they've stuck it out past all the Morbius talk, credit to you. That's like on a level with putting up with Jared Leto. If you can put up with this,
for the record, fuck that dude.
Fuck that guy. Yeah, 100% fuck that guy, and all of his hideous antics. And I think legally can't get into some of them, but oh man, that guy is terrible.
Yeah, I don't want to start casting around legally dubious aspersions.
No, yeah, we're not going to start. Yeah, we're not going to start getting into that. But look them up. Look up some of his shit. Man, terrible. We are so off track of the Oregon Trail. But look up look up some of Jared Leto's shit. He has done some hideous stuff. But the thing is, though, is Jared Leto has the deniability of he can forever just be like, oh yeah, method acting. And everyone's just like, oh yeah, fine. Whatever, that's fine. Yeah, whatever. We'll let him have it.
He's just a master of his craft. He
is a master of craft.
Seriously,
the guy's an Oscar winner. The guy won an Oscar. Like,
what did he win an Oscar for?
Dallas Buyers Club. Which fair play. I mean, it's not his best. House of Gucci. Gucci. He actually won one for Suicide Squad. As the Joker, he won Best Actor in 2016.
He won one for the Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut of Justice League. Clip of him. I mean, that film did win an Oscar the other day, kind of.
How so?
It won
It kind of won an Oscar
because it's not really a proper Oscar. It won the best moment, the best fan moment for the.
Movie moment.
Everyone thought that the three Spider-Man were going to win it, but it was the Flash's time travel scene won it, and probably on rewatching, it is a better scene. So fair play.
I've sort of like, did Spider-Man win any?
Didn't even win the fan favorite. It won nothing. Which it doesn't need to.
Have any of those Marvel movies won any Oscars?
Yeah, for like CGI and stuff. For like best visual effects. I'm sure Endgame won for best visual effects. And to be fair, I think it did have pretty good. I think it was one of the better ones for like CGI, because there is a weird theme at the minute with Marvel having pretty ropey CGI. Yeah. But I think it did have. I can't think of anything.
Oh right, shit! A bunch of them have won.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they have for all the little side categories. Yeah.
Right.
And best sound design and things like that.
Yeah, so like Iron Man and Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 all won best visual effects. So did like the Avengers and the Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy won best makeup and hairstyling.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Because it had a lot of aliens.
Oh yeah, to be fair.
Like yeah.
And also Chris Pratt's hair in that.
Chris Pratt's hair in that and his makeup, yeah.
Yeah, sticking out the top of his little space helmet.
His little space mask.
I don't quite know how that works.
His space mask.
His head still.
Because he's because have you seen the second one?
No.
Oh, he's like part god. It's fine. Skip it. He's not anymore.
Oh wait, shit! Hang on. These are all nominated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. I didn't even see that part of this table. The only ones. Hang on.
I was going to say, there's no way Winter Soldier won for the best visual effects because it's good.
No,
like
Black Panther is the only Marvel movie that's actually won any.
What for?
For
sound, music,
for best costume design.
Okay.
Best original score and best production design.
I was going to say, there's no way it won for visual effects because that film looks dated. I mean, you can't say that.
The last scene, the fight scene,
is awful. I mean, most of the CGI throughout is a bit.
Looks all right.
No, because when they're all stood on the cliff face and they're all just clearly CGI imposed people bobbing about, odd. And the CGI rhinos, the CG rhinos, what is what I like to call them.
The CGI nose.
The CGI nose, yeah.
Black Panther won a BAFTA for best visual effects.
No way. What else came out that year? That's 2018.
Yeah. No, 2019.
2019. Was that film 2019?
That's when it won the BAFTA.
Oh, it was 2018 that it came out. Okay.
Yeah, honoring the best national and foreign films of 2018.
What else came out in 2018? This is a complete detour from the Oregon Trail. Sorry if anyone came for the Oregon Trail.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, to be fair, not much else came out that was. But there was surely something must have. Was there a Star Wars film that year?
Fuck knows.
There was a Fantastic Beasts film. Ready Player One. There's no way Ready Player One didn't beat it to an Oscar for best or a BAFTA for best visual effects.
Ready Player One looks shit. Sorry, I
know, but the point is so does Black Panther, but Ready Player One has a lot more CGI going on. And to be fair, while it isn't great CGI, like for what it is, Ant-Man and the Wasp, that was a better looking film. Deadpool 2 CGI is bad. Solo. There was a Star Wars film, Solo.
Yeah, but that tanked.
Yeah, but it looked good.
Grammys. Black Panther won a Grammy.
For what?
In fact, it won 2 Grammys.
This is a question. This is a good question, actually, real quick. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out that year. That is an animated film. So I know that it would have and could have won the animated feature, but
yeah,
can it win Best Visual Effects? No, right? But like it should.
I don't think so.
But no.
Yeah.
But it should.
So Black Panther won a Grammy for Best Rap Performance and Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media.
It has a good soundtrack. It does have a good soundtrack, and I think Psy and Snoop Dogg have a rap in it. So
yeah,
great.
The Saturn Awards. Do we care about these? Am I just scraping the bottom of the barrel?
No, I care. I care. I don't care if anyone else cares. I care.
Okay. Kevin Feige and Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau all won Saturn Awards for Iron Man.
Great. As they should have.
Alexandra Byrne for Best Costume. She's a costume designer. She won Saturn Award for Thor.
Okay, that's some good costumes in that.
Kevin Feige, Clark Gregg, and Joss Whedon.
Joss Wolf. Another gross guy.
Another shit.
Another bad egg.
They all won Saturn Awards for the Avengers.
Yeah. What did Clark Gregg win it for though? In there, because he wasn't
Best Supporting Actor.
But they're all surely they're all supporting actors. Samuel L. Jackson is a supporting actor in that film.
And actually, Janik Sirs, Jeff White, Guy Williams, and Dan Sudik also won Saturn Awards for the Avengers for Best Special Effects.
Good for them.
Kevin Feige, Robert Downey Jr. and Ben Kingsley.
I prefer Robert Downey Jr. What you were about to say, which is the
Robert Downey Jr.
Microsoft Zune version.
They all won Saturn Awards for Iron Man 3. Then no one won a Saturn Award until 2015 for Guardians of the Galaxy. So Kevin Feige, James Gunn, Chris Pratt, David White.
So they win it. Is this going to be your new thing where like every Marvel movie won a Saturn Award and you're going to now go through the list of everyone that has won on every single movie for every year?
So Alexandra Byrne won a Saturn Award for Age of Ultron for Best Costume Design.
How many, just count down the list, how many subsequent years did they win Saturn Awards? That will probably be our quickest way out of this.
They've won one every year, but it appears to stop. It appears to stop in 2019. So
I had to sneeze. We'll edit the gap there where I muted.
I guess maybe they stopped doing Saturn Awards in 2019.
They probably haven't for the last couple of years.
MTV Movie and TV Awards.
Just read out the number of times they've won it. Don't read out everyone. We're still doing the Oregon Trail bit. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They've won 12 MTV Awards. Also stopped in 2019. Why? Okay, COVID.
Wikipedia. Yeah, but they can still just sort of like, you know.
because Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, so they're not doing that anymore. They're not doing award shows anymore. They've cancelled them.
Bollocks.
Do you know what? Did you know what has probably won many awards?
What?
The Oregon Trail. I would argue. And do you want to know?
Oregon.
I'm bringing it full circle.
Awards.
While you look that up, do you want to know some Oregon Trail trivia? Some Oregon Trailvia?
Oregon Trail TV series 2017 onwards.
What? No way.
All episodes streaming on YouTube.
Oh, it looks rough. No, there's a 1977 TV series as well.
Oh. This has got Michael Hanks in it.
Yeah, I've just seen the thumbnail for that.
Is Michael Hanks the weird Tom Hanks' weird son? Or is
that's Chet Hanks. There's Chet and there's Colin, and Colin's a good guy, and Chet's racist. Yeah. I think. Can I say that? Yeah, Chet's racist.
I don't know.
No, I'm saying it. I don't care. Do you think the Hanks family is going to sue us for this podcast?
Yeah, I don't know about
The
I wasn't gonna say I
defamation.
don't know if Chet Hanks is
No,
racist.
Chet Hanks is racist. Chet Hanks is racist.
I just meant I don't know if we can say that.
No, we can say that. I don't care. Chet
Fucking
Hanks is
Chet
racist.
Hanks is a fucking racist.
Yeah, we're saying that. I can't wait for our cease and desist from. I'm going to get one through the door.
From Chet Hanks.
No, it'll be
He's
from
gonna have
Tom. It will
written
be
in-
like, leave my son alone.
Chet Hanks is gonna, but he's gonna have written it in patois. Like,
oh, oh. I hope he does. I hope Chet Hanks writes us a letter. Shall I write him a letter? Should we get him to be our sponsor? This episode is sponsored by Chet Hanks.
By Chet Hanks.
Can we say that? Can I say
I don't know.
completely baselessly? This episode was brought to you by Chet Hanks.
By Chet Hanks. Can you edit this into the start, and then we will, and then they'll have to listen the whole way through to this point
to work out what's up with that.
Means.
Yeah, hold on. Give me like a second either way of airtime. Here we go. This episode was brought to you by Chet Hanks. Okay, I'll edit that to the start. That's fine. And you'll have to listen this far to know what's going on. I mean, we're gonna be.
We'll just put them both in at the start, and we'll leave these in here as well.
Great, that's cool. If I remember to. So do you want some Oregon Trail beer?
Yeah, I do want some Oregon Trail beer.
All right, so the original version, which isn't the version we played, had no images at all. That doesn't feel like that feels like it was is known. But in 1975, the Minnesota Educational Computing Consortium began producing it with images. Can you imagine playing it for those first 4 years and
it was just text?
I mean, I know that was the norm, and I'm saying that like I wasn't born then. I don't need to have ever put up with that. I know people put up with that, but like, can you imagine?
Yeah, that must have sucked.
Yeah. Majorly.
What actually was the appeal of video games at that point?
Apparently it was madly popular for the first. So here's the thing: the game was madly popular. They had it in a school. They had it in like one school on a computer, and then when the guy upped and left his position at that school, he just took the source code. He just took the game with him. He just left. But apparently it was wildly popular. He took it, the only copy of the Oregon Trail, with the source code, the movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. He took that with him. Because wouldn't you take that movie with you if you were leaving your post at a school?
No, probably be one of the ones I left.
It reviews well. People like it, apparently. Yeah. I don't know who.
I don't mind it.
I haven't watched it. I know about it, but I haven't watched it.
I like the bit where you find out that Jake Gyllenhaal is just like half a man. He's just like half a guy. Sorry for spoiling.
Like emotionally.
Not like he's been cut in half.
Do you find that out, or does that just happen? Yeah. Do you find out halfway through that he's been cut in half?
Halfway through the whole time, he's just been cut in half in a box.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's really weird. It's very upsetting. It was very shocking to find Jake.
The whole time. I mean, I'm not gonna.
Just been half a guy in a box.
I'm not gonna doubt you on that. I'll take your word for that. I'm never watching that movie.
Yeah, no,
you don't need to apologize for spoiling. I'm pretty sure that movie's getting on now. I think everyone who has seen or who is going to watch Source Code has watched Source Code.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, it's not like if you spoiled Morbius, for example. Although I think everyone that was going to see Morbius has now seen Morbius. So all four people in the cinema with us.
There were like a fair few people. Not like a fair few.
There were 5.
There were like 10. There were like 10 people in
so the first screening I walked into was packed. Like it was actually packed, and I walked in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
The second screening, there were 5 people.
Yeah.
Literally, I 6 because I was one of them. And
there's a 1959 movie called The Oregon Trail. The entirety of it's on YouTube.
One day we'll watch that for the podcast. Not now. Not today. Isn't that day? But we will. So it took 2 weeks with 3 developers to make. Which, if you gave. Can you imagine giving us and one other friend, you say you have 2 weeks to make a text-based video game? I don't think that video game would get made. Like, I've made text-based video games before, but if you gave me 2 weeks to make the Oregon Trail, that game's not even getting named. Like, it's not happening. Fair play to them. In 1984, It was then taken by the Minnesota Educational Computing Consortium, or the MEC for short, and it was produced for home release with more historical accuracy and better graphics. And it was made by a whole new team. None of those three people were on it. They said, "Fuck off! We're making your game again. We're doing it better." So they did. They made it
off them. Did they buy it off them, or did they just?
They must.
They were just. No,
like, I'm sure. I'm sure they bought it. I mean,
just like, I'm sure at that point, you could very easily just essentially just copy and paste the code.
I don't think. Right? Can you copyright that sort of thing at this point?
I don't know.
No, they might, because there would be a big scandal about it now. Like, there would be. They probably bought it. I can't be bothered to look up though. That's the version we've played. So we played the 1984 home release version, which was released, I think, if I'm right, on an Apple II. If you look at the list of Oregon Trail games, pretty much all of them are Apple releases, which is odd because it's not owned by Apple. So it's just, that's what they released on.
Weird.
There was an interactive Oregon Trail Broadway musical,
Sorry?
Yeah, you heard me. It's an interactive Oregon Trail Broadway musical in which the audience would pick the names of the Oregon Trail crew, and then at the end they would decide who died. Why they do that at the end? It feels like you should decide who dies before the end, because that would suggest you make it to Oregon and then the people die. But yeah, that's how it works.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was a classic Oregon Trail musical, except you had audience choice. We should do that on our podcast. Yeah. We should have audience choice in between episodes, just like who dies. Next episode, they're just not on it.
This fucking Oregon Trail TV show has got Daniel Radcliffe in it?
No.
What?
I'm gonna look that up. No, Miracle Workers Oregon Trail. So it's a different storyline each season. Yeah. I see what you're doing there, though. I see what you're doing. He plays Craig Bogg. Steve Buscemi plays God in that show. Excellent. Season 3 is the Oregon Trail season. That one we will have to watch. Apparently, we'll have to watch that one. I see. If you had to guess in millions, how many copies do you think the Oregon Trail has sold to date? Bearing in mind, we played it for free on the Discover Oregon website.
Yeah.
How many copies do you think it's sold to date? So people actually going and purchasing the Oregon Trail.
I would be shocked if it's many, but also considering when it came out, if that was one of the few options. But then how many people were playing video games?
All of them. Everyone.
I don't think, because in 1977, no, sorry, 1971.
I'm sure that probably schools had to buy it though, because schools would have been playing, because it's an educational game, so I'm sure they would have probably had to buy it.
But we only had in my primary school in 2006.
Yeah, but this is America.
We only had one computer then.
No, but this is but you're talking small. We're talking small English primary schools. This is America. America is probably a bit further ahead of us in. Yes, they still have the flag up in their schools, but they probably also have more than we do.
Yeah.
How many copies? How many copies do you reckon? Just ballpark it. I'll give you within 10 million. I'll let you have it. This could be a trick question. The answer could be 4 copies, but within 10 million, I'll let you have it.
Okay, I'm gonna go 920,000.
65 million copies.
65 million copies.
65 million people have bought the Oregon Trail.
What, the version that we played?
I think that's just all Oregon Trail to date. I don't know. I mean,
oh yeah, and do the guys who made the Oregon Trail, do they still get the royalties from the
I would assume
game and
not.
Shit?
Probably no. It's got to be free license of some description. I'm sure if we wanted to do it, I'm sure if we wanted to make an Oregon Trail game, I think we would be allowed. Because there are also, and that question leads into this, is do they get the royalties for the following games? There is also the Amazon Trail, there is the Yukon Trails, there is Maya Quest, the Mystery Trail, there is Africa Trail, there is also Africa Trail. Africa. You do all of Africa. There is also on the Oregon website, I assume the same website we played the current game on, there is a modern version of the Oregon Trail where you are a tourist who lands in Oregon and you just kind of live life in Oregon. Like there is no end game. And I checked it out, but other than that, and yeah, there's the third person Wii game. So great. That's great. There's a lot of versions. Game. Yeah, do you think they get royalties for that?
I've got no idea. Where's the modern version? I'm trying to find that.
What, like the most up to date Oregon Trail?
No, the one where you're someone who just moves to Oregon in the 21st century.
Oh, okay. Modern tourism version.
Apparently, the reasons for the
so
Oregon
2017
Trail,
it came out.
Apparently, the reasons for its actual establishment, like the setup, the trail itself, was fur trader and mining.
Yeah,
but these are just like, I thought it was just people just going up there to go and live. They all because
I don't even think
miners.
I don't think it's to Oregon. I don't think the trail is to I think the trail that you do in the game. No, because we don't go to Oregon in the game, do we?
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing I should know.
Right. So what is the Oregon Trail? The Oregon Trail was an early American wagon thoroughfare that spanned over 2,100 miles. The eastern starting point of the Oregon Trail was in Independence, Missouri, and it ended in Oregon's Willamette Valley.
Oh, okay.
The Oregon Trail went through portions of these states: Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, Idaho, Oregon.
Right. No, because I would assume that you can stop off at any point. Right, and you can just go and settle there. I don't think everyone that does it is going to Oregon. So there would be fur traders like, oh, I'm just going to stop off in.
So you'll probably just stop in place and chase some fur here.
On Fort wherever. I'm stopping here. Like I don't think suddenly Oregon was like, we need so many fur traders. Everyone, please, if you're a fur trader, come to Oregon. Although, do you think
I'd like to go back to Oregon? I've been to Oregon one time. Actually, I stayed there for a little bit.
Is it in your album? We're gonna plug your album. Is it in your album, Portland to San Diego?
Well, Portland, yes.
No, I know Portland
is. There's a song called Portland.
I know there's a song called Portland, but is that just an Oregon song?
No, there's no Oregon song.
Okay, rubbish.
Yeah,
throw the whole album out. We're no longer plugging the album.
Oh, yeah.
Rubbish.
Fine.
Put an Oregon trail song on it. Do an extended version.
Maybe I will.
Do.
Maybe I will.
And then we'll plug it. So probably we'll be editing this after the fact. There's probably a weird cut there there's probably weird cuts throughout. But there's probably a weird cut there because we got sidetracked by the Visit Brighton and Hove website. And then what is a listicle? It turns out a listicle is
a list of articles.
Is a list of articles. And this is the section, because we're wrapping up now. This is the section of the podcast where we plug the website. I think the website was designed actually to plug the podcast, but whatever. There are 40 different articles that you can read about all sorts of great stuff.
That's
like
40.
Morbius. There's 40. There's at least 4 Morbius. There's Forbius. There's at least 4 Morbius articles. So a tenth of the articles are Morbius articles, if that's what you're interested in. There aren't any Oregon Trail articles because that's what this is, loosely. Check that one out. You can also check out Alfie Deverell's Spotify. He releases great albums such as Portland to San Diego, Malaga to Paris, and I think there's one coming out soon. So you can check that one out. You can't check anything out from me other than this because I don't do anything else. This is my life now. I make podcasts, like one podcast every 2 weeks. You can hit subscribe on this. This is all I'm worth. You can subscribe to this either on the website or you can subscribe to it on Spotify. You can subscribe to it on Google Podcasts. You might be able to subscribe to it on Apple Podcasts if I can be bothered to set it up there. You also might be able to subscribe to it on YouTube, but you can definitely do it on the website, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. This has been episode 1 of the Cloven Hoof Podcast, and yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Episode 2 will be in 2 weeks' time, and it will be Fantastic Beasts 3, and it will be the Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup game. So
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. But I think somehow I'm looking forward to watching that movie less than I was looking forward to watching.
Yeah, and for the record, he hasn't seen the other Fantastic Beasts film, and he hasn't actually seen most of the Harry Potter films. So if you've seen half of them, right? You've seen 4 of 8. So yeah. Anyway, this has been episode 1. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you back here in 2 weeks.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.